creepy, strange, terrifying. Ranked the second most haunted house in Massachusetts, this episode we're discussing the legendary haunting of the S.K. Pierce Mansion. Oh, this is gonna be so good. The S.K. Pierce Mansion is known for its paranormal activity. Visitors say they've seen full-body apparitions, hear the sounds of footsteps through the halls and on the stairs, and the ghosts that haunt this mansion are known to get really physical. It's known in town to be haunted. The house has seen countless tragedies and mysterious deaths. But Edwin Gonzalez and his girlfriend Lillian Otero did not know any of this when they moved into the home in 2008. But they would be so tormented by the activity in the house, they ended up fleeing. We have so much to cover in this true case, so grab a blankie, get a snack, and get cozy. This is the haunting of the S.K. Pierce Mansion. In 2008, Edwin Gonzalez and his girlfriend Lillian Otero thought, this is too good to be true. They sat on their computer looking at a brand new listing, a gorgeous, historic Victorian mansion for sale in Gardner, Massachusetts. For just under $200,000, this was a steal. They meet with the realtor who shows them the mansion, and they say it's like they stepped into a different era. They learn the house was built in 1875 by a wealthy businessman, furniture tycoon S.K. Pierce. S.K. achieved his fortune as the owner of the S.K. Pierce & Sons Furniture Company. This was such a success, the town became known for the furniture industry, and it led to Gardner, Massachusetts being known as Chair City. This house is spectacular and was a marvel for its time. 7,000 square feet, 10 bedrooms. As the couple walked around, they saw the moldings and detailing. It took 100 men a year and a half to build it, and it showed how much work was put into this house to make it unique, one of a kind. Lillian's dream was to live in a house exactly like this, a beautiful Victorian. So as they're getting their tour, she begins taking tons of photos of the house to show her family. But not long after getting there, her camera abruptly dies. This was strange as she had just put in a new battery. They continue on with the tour, but then something strange starts happening with Edwin. He said as the real estate agent is showing them around, he would step into certain rooms and feel fine. But others, he would step inside and get a really odd feeling. He begins to feel ill, nauseous, like he's about to be sick. He believes it's something that he ate and is still so impressed with the mansion, he wants to continue the tour. And Edwin and Lillian love the place. They put in an offer immediately, and they get it. And they move in. It doesn't take long for things to get really creepy. A few months in, a neighbor sees something strange in the mansion window. Edwin had a friend who lived on the street and was passing by their house. He looks up and sees a young boy standing in a second-story window. The boy seemed to run from one window on one side of the house to the other side. He notices this boy on several occasions. So one day, this friend and Edwin are talking, and he asks, "Hey, I didn't know you had a son." Edwin tells him they don't have a son. This friend tells him about what he saw, saying that he's seen a boy up in the second story of their home, looking out the windows. Edwin's super confused and tells him there's been no children in the house since they moved in. Edwin thinks it's a bit strange, but doesn't think much of it. Assumes his friend maybe imagined it. He also thinks this is impossible because of the friend's story. When Edwin asks him what windows he saw the boy, the friend points to one window on one side of the house, and then within a few seconds, he was in another window on the complete opposite side. But this would be impossible, as these two windows were separated by an entire floor. It would take more than a few seconds to get from one room to the next. So this just doesn't make any sense. Edwin and Lillian are really enjoying living in the Victorian. They were settling in nicely, until one night, it began. The couple was in bed sleeping, and they woke up to their bedroom door loudly slamming shut. Edwin runs into the hall to find no one there. Hours later, around 5 in the morning, the couple is back asleep when they hear someone harshly pounding and knocking on their front door. They have no idea who this is, Edwin quickly makes his way down the stairs, runs over, and opens up the front door to find no one. Then, a few nights later, Edwin is working alone in his office when he suddenly feels a presence. That feeling when you know you're not alone. He feels someone behind him. He turns around, there's no one there. No one he can see, at least. But at this point, he knows there's something going on. He's wondering, what's up with this house? I like this story because it's one of the rare ones where the man is actually experiencing a lot of the activity and is acknowledging something ain't right in this Victorian. He feels the house is haunted. So he does what anyone would do. He calls up the previous owner of the mansion and asks, "Did you experience anything strange living there?" And the previous owner says, "Yeah, I did. There were a number of odd things that happened while living there." This man, the previous owner, bought the house in 2000, and when he purchased it, it had been sitting empty for quite a while. And then the phone call takes a turn. This previous owner asks Edwin, "Did you know a man died in the main bedroom? The one you're sleeping in?" The previous owner tells Edwin to check out a book about haunted Massachusetts for more on the history of the home. Edwin does exactly that. He finds this book, opens it up, and there, on the page, is a picture of his house, a big old photograph of it. He learns his home has a pretty dark history. We covered S.K. Pierce designing and building the home. Shortly after S.K. and his wife moved into the house, she passed away in the house. S.K.'s sons eventually took control of the mansion after S.K. Pierce passed away, and the family's fortune dwindled. The Great Depression hit hard, so Edward, one of the sons, turned the mansion into a boarding house, known for drinking and gambling. This beautiful house, originally built to be a family home, became known for all kinds of illegal activities. In 1963, a Finnish man named Eno Sari died in the home, in the main bedroom. Now this is where things get pretty bizarre. Reports say he died from smoke inhalation, but because there was very little damage to the surrounding room, many believe this was a case of spontaneous combustion. There's a lot of mystery around this. And when Edwin learns about this man, he comes to the realization that the presence he had felt that night when he was in his office was Enos. So along with the child spirit that Edwin's friend saw and Enos, the couple believes there are numerous ghosts haunting their house. The young boy's identity remains mysterious, but many believe he could be a grandchild of S.K. Pierce. And there's been other reports stating there was an accident at the home, a drowning. Time passes, and the longer Edwin and Lillian stay in the house, the stranger it gets. Late one night, the couple woke up to hear cups and glasses shattering in their kitchen. They hesitantly make their way to the kitchen, open up the door, to find no one there. Even weirder, there's no sign of anything broken. The activity is really starting to ramp up. One evening, there's an unexpected knock at the door. Edwin opens it up to find a man who introduced himself as Bill Wallace. He said he knew the previous owner and wanted to speak with Edwin about the home. Bill has visited the house numerous times and describes himself as a spiritual empath, saying that he has communicated with the ghosts there. He goes on to tell Edwin that there is a female spirit in the house named Maggie. She was a nanny for S.K. Pierce's children, and she still wanders the halls of the house. Maggie watches over the place like a protector, mother-like spirit. Bill walks around the house and tells Edwin that she is protecting him and Lillian from the other spirits. So Maggie, this female spirit, is a good one, but Bill tells Edwin that he feels there's something evil in the basement cellar and on the second floor. So the couple now has confirmation from numerous people that the house is haunted. So, 10 months into living there, Edwin and Lillian host an open house for paranormal investigators. They say they were hopeful that this would bring more answers and clarity, but things don't go well. During this paranormal open house, there was a strict no Ouija board policy. They aren't good and can really open the door to some pretty horrible stuff. But the group that went into the cellar snuck one in and began using it down there. Some of the other investigators that were there were somewhat taunting the spirits, and then everyone packed up and left, leaving Edwin and Lillian there alone. The couple realized that this paranormal open house probably wasn't the best idea, and many who were there did not have good intentions. And now the activity really begins to take a turn. They continue to hear strange sounds, footsteps, doors slamming shut with no one around, and they were seeing apparitions in the home, feeling the entities touch them on certain occasions. The couple, once determined to make it work, now unsure if that was possible. One of the most terrifying aspects of this case is how it began to affect those inside of the house. The couple had a friend come over one evening, and he experienced some kind of episode in the home, saying he felt like his legs stopped working. But once he got outside of the house, he was fine. And Edwin said Lillian began acting very out of character. She was down, lying on the couch all day, not moving, not eating. She had become really withdrawn. Edwin believed the house was responsible. It got so bad, Edwin calls an exorcist. This exorcist says he believed the house had a very dark entity haunting the family, tormenting them, and feels that he got rid of it. But Edwin says that Lillian is still not acting like herself. Things are getting worse. Bill, the spiritual empath that was friends with the previous owner, visits the house and sees Lillian, speaks with her, and he believes she's being possessed by a woman named Abigail. Abigail worked as a housekeeper at the mansion in the Victorian era, and Bill also doesn't sense the presence of Maggie in the house anymore. Maggie was the protector spirit who watched over the mansion and the couple, but Bill didn't feel her there anymore. Bill sits down with the couple and tells them that the mansion has an effect on marriages. Bill said that when the previous couple moved in, they were madly in love, really enjoyed being with each other. But a few years after living in the house, he said they couldn't stand each other. The house is very dangerous. The activity is just getting worse, so the couple up and leaves. They flee the mansion. Edwin said it just wasn't worth it anymore, and they walked away. They moved in with family, and after leaving the house, they began to feel normal again, happy. It's believed the house is haunted by numerous spirits. S.K. Pierce himself, his wife, Susan Pierce, Edward Pierce, previous employees that worked at the mansion, a young boy and girl, perhaps Pierce grandchildren, and Inosari, as well as dark spirits that reside in the cellar of the home. The mansion has been featured on countless paranormal TV shows. In 2015, a company bought the property, hoping to restore it and open up the mansion to the public for tours and overnight stays. And get this, it gets so bad in this house you have to sign a waiver to enter. Yikes. The spirits in the home have shown that they have the ability to touch and push and shove people. They can affect the living physically. That is so scary. So, for this reason, a waiver must be signed before entering. It's not uncommon for guests to feel hands shoving them. And this is horrifying. A woman said she felt a ghost try to push her down the stairs. A ghost tried to shove this woman down the stairs. Another woman said when she was standing looking out a third-story window, she felt someone pushing her from behind, trying to shove her out the window. I think for so long people thought, oh, well, ghosts can't touch you, so they can't really hurt you, So what is there to be afraid of? But not in this house. Apparently in this mansion, anything goes. They also warn guests not to act obnoxious or taunt the spirits. Many paranormal experts say the spirits in the home are some of the most advanced they have seen. Just as Lillian and Edwin had experienced, these entities have the ability to move objects and touch people, imposing their will physically. They are also known to use electronic energy, which explains why when Lillian first toured the home, her camera died. But I gotta know, would you be down to visit the haunted Victorian? Let me know in the comments if you would be down for a tour or a stay. Thanks so much for joining me for this episode. Make sure you subscribe to this channel, give this video a like, and turn on post notifications. Next episode, I've got so much more mystery coming your way. Until then, check out these videos. You could pick that one, super spooky, or that one, super creepy. Both great choices.